The global financial system is standing at the edge of a historic shift. America, the world's most powerful economy, is drowning in debt. The United States national debt has crossed $38 trillion. That number is not abstract, it is real, and it is dangerous. Interest payments alone now cost the U.S. over $1 trillion every year, more than many countries' entire defense budgets. For decades, America survived because of one weapon, the U.S. dollar. Oil was traded in dollars. Global trade depended on dollars. Foreign reserves were held in dollars. This system was called the petrodollar. But today, that system is cracking, quietly, steadily, irreversibly. While America prints money, a new alliance is preparing an exit. BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. These countries are doing something very different. They are buying gold. They are reducing U.S. Treasury holdings. They are trading oil without the dollar. Gold is not just an investment. Gold is protection. It cannot be sanctioned. It cannot be frozen. It cannot be printed. Together, BRICS nations now control a massive share of global gold production. China and Russia have been aggressively increasing their gold reserves. At the same time, China is cutting its exposure to U.S. debt. Russia has almost completely abandoned it. This is not coincidence. This is strategy. And now, the most dangerous part, oil. For decades, oil meant dollars. No dollars, no oil. But today, China buys oil from Russia, from Iran, using local currencies. Saudi Arabia has openly discussed selling oil in non-dollar terms. Currency swaps, alternative payment systems, BRICS financial platforms, this is de-dollarization. Not a theory, not a conspiracy, it is already happening. And this is where geopolitics enters. Why Venezuela? Why Iran? Why even Greenland? Because these places are not random. Venezuela holds the largest proven oil reserves on Earth. Iran controls massive oil and gas fields and sits on one of the most critical energy choke points. Greenland, often mocked, is rich in rare earth minerals. Rare earths are not rare because of scarcity. They are rare because of control. Missiles, satellites, electric vehicles, advanced weapons, AI systems, none of them function without rare earths. China dominates rare earth processing today. Greenland threatens that balance. When Donald Trump talked about Greenland, the world laughed. But strategically, it made perfect sense. Control resources, control power. Sanctions were used as weapons against Iran, against Venezuela, against Russia. But sanctions backfired. They forced these countries to build alternatives. Iran learned to sell oil without the dollar. Russia learned to survive financial isolation. China accelerated financial independence. Sanctions became training programs for de-dollarization. Now, the dollar still dominates. It still makes up around 58% of global reserves. This is not a collapse, yet. But dominance does not end overnight. It erodes. One oil deal at a time, one gold purchase at a time, one trade agreement without the dollar at a time. Empires do not fall from explosions. They fall from cracks. America now faces a dilemma: reduce debt, reform the system, share power, or double down. Sanctions, military pressure, resource competition. Trump chose pressure. Different leaders, same structural problem. Debt limits choices. The world is moving toward a multipolar financial order. Not one currency, not one master. Gold, energy, technology, trade routes, these define power now. The $38 trillion debt is not just economics, it is vulnerability. BRICS understands this. Venezuela, Iran, Greenland, these are not headlines, they are chess pieces. The battle is not about democracy or ideology. It is about money, resources, and control of the future. The dollar era will not end tomorrow, but it is no longer eternal, and that changes everything. Is it really over? Has the death of the US dollar begun? Or is this another manufactured financial panic? Across the internet, headlines are screaming, "The dollar is dead! BlackRock dumped $2 trillion!" But slow down. This is not economics. This is information warfare. BlackRock is the largest asset manager on Earth. It controls more than $9 trillion. When an institution of this size shifts assets, it is normal financial behavior. Portfolio rebalancing is being sold as abandoning the dollar. That is not journalism. That is deliberate manipulation. So why is the death of the dollar narrative spreading? Because the world is changing. For decades, the US dollar was not just money. It was power. Power enforced through sanctions, power enforced through asset freezes, power enforced through financial exclusion. When a currency becomes a weapon, nations begin to look for protection. That is why China, Russia, Iran, and BRICS nations are using local currencies. This is not an attack on America. This is a demand for financial sovereignty. At the same time, the United States is drowning in historic debt, trillions upon trillions, yet it lectures the world about discipline. Confidence does not collapse overnight. It erodes slowly. So what is BlackRock actually doing? It is not dumping the dollar. BlackRock is hedging, moving into gold, moving into commodities, moving into Asia, preparing for digital finance. This is not rebellion. This is survival. Now, be clear, the dollar is not finished. 60% of global reserves are still in dollars. Most global trade still uses the dollar. Oil is still priced in dollars. There is no immediate replacement. But one truth cannot be denied. The era of absolute dollar dominance is ending. Not collapsing, ending. The world is moving toward a multi-currency system, a system where Washington is not the only voice. Beijing matters, Moscow matters, Riyadh matters, Brasilia matters. This is not a sudden crash, it is a redistribution of power, and power never fades quietly. The death of the dollar is not analysis, it is a headline war. BlackRock's name is being used to spread fear, to distract from real global change. The dollar is not dead, but its era of unquestioned supremacy is slowly fading, and that is the real global reality.